Raghav Avasthi. Raghav Avasthi,
So I
even
would
if we
like
buy
to
this
make-
argument, even if we buy this argument that Hindu dharma or Sikhi or Jain dharma and Bodh dharma, they originated in this land. An exception is also being made for Parsis and Christians. If an exception is being made for Parsis and Christians, the opposition asks, why leave Muslims out? Is this singling out the Muslims to other the Muslims?
That's not the case at all. If you look at the Constitution of Pakistan, for example, under the Constitution of Pakistan, if you're not a Muslim, or for that matter, even if you're an Ahmadi, you cannot aspire to certain constitutional posts. The Constitution of Bangladesh is slightly different, of course, in as much as it just prescribes Islam as the state religion. And Hindus can, of course, rise much further than they can in Pakistan. And on the other hand, like if you come to Afghanistan, you don't even know if there is a constitution or a functioning government. So there is definitely a rational nexus which is there, and there is an intelligible differential. As far as my good friend Tehseen is concerned, I have the utmost respect for him. I would like to make a suggestion. The Supreme Court in that independent thought case had actually read down the age of consent from 18 to 16. So there is, of course, a precedent. He can petition the Supreme Court, or maybe he can amend his petition to make sure that the cutoff date is not 2014, it is 2023. He can do that very well. So instead of pointing fingers now, it is much better to amend his petition and gun for that in the Supreme Court. Similarly, he can also ask for another reading down of the act whereby atheists can be included. But I really don't understand the point of batting for a Pakistani or an Afghan or Bangladeshi Muslim who is in any case not eligible to get citizenship through the normal course. And in any case, if you are religiously oppressed, if you're, let me complete. If you're a Shia, let me complete. If you're a Shia or any other persecuted religious minority in Pakistan, of course, you can apply for asylum. But asylum doesn't have to equal citizenship. For example, Alexei Navalny was staying in Germany. Before, of course, he went to Russia and then he was incarcerated and then killed in prison. But he didn't want to become a German citizen. So if you want to apply for asylum, it doesn't mean that you want to become also a citizen and then participate in a political process. That's my limited point.
Fair enough, and let me get Syed Asad Abbas to respond to that. Why are some Indian Muslims seeking the same privilege, the accelerated citizenship for Pakistani Muslims or Afghan Muslims or Bangladeshi Muslims or even Rohingyas? In case they're persecuted, they can come here as refugees. Why should, some here want them to become Indian citizens?
Why not, sir? Why not? When
Because
there's persecution
the point
happening,
that was being made, the point that was being made earlier, that there are 4 religions that have originated in this land: Hinduism, Sikhi, Buddhism, Jainism. So where will these people go? They will come to India, and this is their natural country. But for Rohingyas, this is not their natural country. For Pakistani Muslims or Afghan Muslims, India is not their natural country.
So
why should Indian Muslims bat for them?
Is it mentioned in the Citizenship Amendment Bill anywhere that it is only for the national country? How does Christianity become a national country here in India? How is India a national country for Parsis? So that's a flawed argument, sir. And my friend Raghav, you need to read the Constitution of Pakistan, sir. Pakistan is a theocracy. It has no place for secular. India is a democracy. It is a secular, democratic, sovereign, socialistic republic. So
not for Pakistani Muslims, not for Afghan Muslims.
Also, Gaurav Sahab, we need to understand there is no mention. What about those prosecuted on sexual orientation? What about them? Nothing. What about atheists, agnostics? What about apostates, heretics? Nothing for them. Why so selective on the religion end? Why not give it on the basis of humanitarian grounds? Why do you need to bring in? What about, we speak of article, so on and so forth. Nothing for them. Nothing for those who are persecuted on other grounds. Why so selective is my question.
Sir, उनको refugee बनाकर ले भी ले अगर उनके अधिकार बनते हैं उनको citizen क्यों बनाना है? Is the point that Raghav Avasthi was raising. But Shehzad Poonawala wants to come in. Go on, sir.
Let me answer this, and I hope I will be able to make some sense. Again, Gaurav, very slowly. In the 1990s, we only invited Tamilians persecuted in Sri Lanka on a linguistic basis in their country. Were we being unfair to the differently oriented people in Sri Lanka? Were we being unjust to say the other people who are being persecuted in various parts around India, around the neighborhood of India? No, there was a specific reason and a specific cause. Similarly, now to say this is actually beimani when the idea is to now redress a problem that Mahatma Gandhi identified, Congress leaders identified, of religious persecution in Islamist theocratic states which have been part of Akhand Bharat. Now you say, but why not the sexual orientation? Sir, they are entitled to come to India through the Citizenship Act. The Citizenship Amendment Act is, I'll tell you for whom. It is for those people who, despite severe religious persecution to the extent that they were 23% at one time and now at 2%, have still kept their dharma with them, and they have said, I don't want my property, sampatti, I am ready to leave everything but not my dharma. India owes a civilizational duty towards them. We don't owe a civilizational duty to somebody who's a gay in Pakistan, that, oh, because you're gay in Pakistan and you're being persecuted, therefore you become an Indian citizen. But we do owe a civilizational duty to every Hindu who could not come at that time, because the Indian leaders at that time told him, tum jahan ho wahan raho, hum aapko yahan surakshit laenge. This was the guarantee of Mahatma Gandhi. This was the guarantee of Sardar Patel. It was the guarantee of Nehruji. Nehruji did not guarantee to sexually oriented people of Pakistan that gays jo wahan par hai, kisi din hum aapko idhar laenge aur nagrik banayenge. Nehruji said कि अगर आप वहां पर हिंदू है और यहां पर नहीं आ पा रहे 47 में, हम आपको गारंटी दे रहे हैं आपको लेकर आएंगे यहां पर. Please.
Sir, it's not just gay. You need to have a better vocabulary for that. It's LGBTQIA+. So therefore, it's not restrained to one. Second point, sir, you also need to understand.
You add whatever alphabets you want to them. It doesn't change the truth.
Targeting one. Just increase a bit of your knowledge, sir. Kindly be more sensitive towards the topic and issue here.
I am sorry, I don't have as much information about sexual orientation as you have.
Why is it
religion? I am probably less competent at knowing that. You are more.
Why are you so
sir, let's stay on the substantive issue of the Citizenship Amendment Act.
Can I come in, Gaurav, after Mr. Abbas?
Yes, because I also want to raise that issue. I also want to raise the issue of why not Rohingyas? Because Rohingyas are being persecuted on the basis of their religion. Why is it that if Muslims are being persecuted, why are they not being helped? And the point, Raghav Awasthi, that several opposition leaders, including from the TMC, they've raised this point. That is it the religion that decides whether you're a refugee or an infiltrator, whether from Bangladesh? If it's a Bangladeshi Muslim, it's an infiltrator. If it's a Bangladeshi Hindu, then it's a refugee.
This is a very good question, and I would really like to first lay out the legal position as it stands. India is not signatory to any refugee convention. That is the first thing. So as of now, there is nothing in our domestic law which governs how we deal with refugees. Of course, we deal with each and every application on a case-to-case basis, right? That is one thing. Secondly, this act as it stands, it has absolutely nothing to do with Rohingyas. It doesn't even mention Rohingyas. It is like saying that you take the Indian Penal Code and say, why is it that it does not talk about contracts? And if we look at the statement of objects and reasons of the act, it says that the constitutions of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh provide for a specific state religion. As a result, many persons belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, Christian communities have faced persecution on grounds of religion in those countries. So this act pertains to Gaurav only these countries.
Okay.
It doesn't have anything to do with Myanmar or any other country.
Okay.
So why
let me address this, Gaurav, 10 seconds.
Rohingya who in any case can get refuge? If at all they want, we can deal with it on a case-to-case basis.